My name is Nancy Austin. I'm 35 years old. Last month, my parents flew halfway across the country for my sister's housewarming party. 3.5 hour flight, business class. They stayed 10 days. 4 weeks later, my father called, said they couldn't make it to my wedding. The reason? That 30-minute drive is just too much for your mother's back. Let me repeat that. 3.5 hours on a plane to see my sister unpack boxes. But 30 minutes in a car to watch me get married was too far. I walked down the aisle while 2 seats sat empty in the front row. My husband's father gave me away. The entire chapel saw my parents' choice. 3 weeks later, my father appeared at my office with an accordion folder. Inside were documents about my grandmother's estate. He wasn't there to apologize for missing my wedding. He was there to ask me for something. He had no idea what I was about to find in that folder. But before I tell you what was inside, you need to understand something. This didn't start with my wedding. It started the day Madison was born. I was 5 years old when my sister came home from the hospital. I remember my mother holding her, looking at her like she'd invented sunlight. I remember thinking maybe if I was really quiet and really good, she'd look at me that way too. She never did. The first Christmas I really remember, I was 6. Madison was 1. I'd asked Santa for a dollhouse, the kind with the little furniture and the working lights. Christmas morning, there it was. Pink roof, green shutters, everything I'd imagined. My mother put it in Madison's nursery. "Nancy, you're such a big girl now," she said. "You understand Santa has a budget, right? Madison's just a baby. She needs more." I got a $12 coloring book. Madison couldn't even walk yet. But that dollhouse sat in her room for the next 8 years. I never touched it. I told myself it was fine, that maybe when Madison got older, things would be different. They got worse. High school hit, and the divide became official. Madison enrolled at Holy Trinity Preparatory, private Catholic school, small class sizes, $18,000 a year in tuition. I went to Washington High, public school, free. My mother's explanation: Madison needs smaller class sizes. She's more sensitive. You're smart, Nancy. You'll thrive anywhere. I did thrive, because I had to. I worked 20 hours a week at Target during junior and senior year, saving every paycheck for college, while Madison got driven to school in a car my parents bought her. 4 years at Holy Trinity, $72,000. I kept track. Even then, I was keeping track. Then came college. I got into the University of Iowa with a $15,000 scholarship. Not a full ride, not even close. The rest I covered with federal student loans. $52,000 borrowed for my bachelor's degree. Madison got into the same university 2 years later. My parents paid every cent. Tuition, room, board, books, spending money. $48,000 over 4 years, plus another $27,000 for her year abroad in Florence, Italy. I remember calling my dad during my junior year. There was a summer program in Dublin. $4,000. I'd saved $2,000 from my resident advisor stipend. I just needed help with the rest. "Nancy, you know we're stretched thin," he said. "Madison needs a car for campus. Maybe next year." There was no next year, but Madison got her year in Tuscany. I graduated in 2012 with honors and $52,000 in debt. Then I went straight into a master's program in higher education. Another $37,000 in loans. Madison graduated in 2013 after taking 5 years to finish. Zero debt, a suntan from Italy, and a $3,000 graduation gift check. I got a card in the mail. My parents came to my master's graduation. They sat through the ceremony, but they couldn't stay for dinner. We promised Madison we'd help her move into her new apartment, my mother said. I stood in the parking lot in my cap and gown and watched them drive away. $89,000 in student loans. That was the price of my independence. I learned to celebrate my own victories because no one else was counting them. I started working in admissions at the University of Iowa in 2014. Entry-level position, $38,000 a year. It wasn't much, but it was mine. I helped first-generation students navigate financial aid, students whose parents couldn't or wouldn't help them. I understood them. By 2020, I'd worked my way up to senior admissions counselor. $68,000 a year, good salary for Iowa, stable, respectable, and every single month since 2015, I'd sent my parents $400. They called it help with bills. I called it what it was, guilt money. The tax I paid for being the daughter who made it without them. 10 years, $400 a month, $48,000 total. I never missed a payment. Even that winter in 2018 when my heat got shut off because I couldn't afford both my utilities and my student loan payment, I still sent them the $400. They never said thank you, it was just expected. My student loan payment was $720 a month, every month, like clockwork. I'd paid $86,400 over 10 years and still owed $52,000. I did the math obsessively. I knew exactly how much every choice had cost me. I met Jamie in the fall of 2022 at a community book club. He taught English at the local high school. He had student loans too, $45,000 for his bachelor's degree. We bonded over our shared debt and our shared love of books we couldn't afford to buy new. On our third date, he met my parents. Afterward, he said, "Your parents seem distant." "They're busy with Madison," I told him. "Madison lives in Des Moines. We're literally at dinner with them right now." "I know." He didn't push it then, but Jamie noticed things. He noticed that my mother called Madison 3 times during our dinner. She didn't call me once. He noticed that when I mentioned getting promoted to senior counselor, my father said, "That's nice," and went back to his soup. He noticed that when Madison sent a group text about buying new patio furniture, my mother responded with 17 exclamation points and 4 heart emojis. When I sent our engagement announcement, she responded 6 hours later. "Congratulations." 1 word. Jamie was the first person who ever said, "You don't owe them that money every month." "They're my parents," I said. "It's what family does. Family goes both ways." I wasn't ready to hear it yet. Madison married Garrett Sullivan in April 2023. He's a commercial real estate developer. Makes about $240,000 a year. The wedding cost $35,000. My parents contributed $12,000. They asked me to cover their gift to Madison. An $8,500 china set Madison had picked out herself. "We'll pay you back," my father said. They never did. My mother posted 83 photos from Madison's wedding on Facebook. She wore a different dress in the ceremony photos than the reception. She'd bought 2 dresses. Each one cost more than my entire Target wardrobe. When Jamie and I got engaged in August 2024, my mother's reaction was more measured. "That's nice, honey. Does Jamie have good insurance? Teachers don't make much." Madison and Garrett bought a house in West Des Moines, 4,500 square feet, $485,000. My mother drove the 2 hours from Cedar Rapids to visit them every 6 to 8 weeks. She came to Iowa City to visit me twice in 2024. Both times she stayed less than 2 hours. Madison had 2 kids, Olivia 4, Jackson 2. She stayed home with them. Started a mommy blog that made exactly $0, but gave her something to post about between Pilates classes and Target runs. My mother called her 3 times a week to check in. She called me once a month, usually to ask if I'd sent that month's payment yet. Then in October 2025, Madison and Garrett bought a second home, a vacation condo in Scottsdale, Arizona. 3 bedrooms, $340,000. My mother sent a group text to the entire extended family. Big news! Madison and Garrett bought a second home in Scottsdale. We're flying out for the housewarming. So proud of our girl. I was in that group text. My wedding invitation had gone out 5 weeks earlier. No group text about that. My parents booked their flights to Scottsdale on October 2nd, $520 each. Economy tickets with exit row seats for extra legroom. $45 more each way for comfort. They flew out October 23rd, Cedar Rapids to Chicago to Phoenix. 3.5 hours in the air. They stayed 10 days. I watched it all unfold on Facebook. My mother documented everything. 47 photos across 10 days. Day 1. Arrived in beautiful Scottsdale, so proud of Madison's gorgeous new place. Day 3. Helping Madison decorate her Arizona home. Family time is the best time. Day 5. Sunset from Madison's balcony, blessed beyond measure. Day 8. Can't believe our vacation is almost over. Madison, we're so proud of you. I saw every post, every smile, every proud mom caption. My wedding was 3 weeks away. They bought Madison a West Elm furniture set, $1,800, plus $3,200 in cash as a housewarming gift. $5,000 in gifts for a vacation home, for a daughter who was already living in a $500,000 house with a husband who made 6 figures. I texted my mother on November 2nd, the day they got back. "Welcome home, how was the trip?" She responded 6 hours later. "Wonderful. Madison's place is beautiful. We're exhausted, though. That travel really takes it out of us at our age." I didn't respond. 3 weeks later, that exhaustion would be the excuse for missing my wedding. On November 10th, 12 days before my wedding, my mother called. "Nancy, what time is your ceremony again?" 2 o'clock. I sent you the schedule, Mom." Right. And it's in Iowa City?" "Yes, like I've said, multiple times." "That's a bit of a drive for us, you know." "Mom, it's 30 minutes. "Well, it feels longer when you're our age." "You just flew to Arizona." "That's different. We were sitting." My stomach dropped. I knew. Right then, I knew. "I'll see you on the 22nd, I said, and hung up before she could hear my voice crack. That night, I told Jamie, "I don't think they're coming." "Don't borrow trouble," he said. "They RSVP'd, yes." I know them better than that. I should have trusted my gut. Tuesday, November 18th, 4 days before my wedding. I was at my desk at work, reviewing a financial aid package for a first-generation student. My phone rang. Office line. My receptionist's voice came through the speaker. "Nancy, line 2, it's your father." My father never called me at work. I picked up. "Nancy, we need to talk about Saturday." "What about Saturday?" I already knew, but I needed to hear him say it. "Your mother's sciatica has been really acting up. The doctor said she shouldn't be sitting in a car for long periods." "Dad, it's 30 minutes. "Well, it's more like 45 with traffic." "There's no traffic between Cedar Rapids and Iowa City on a Saturday afternoon. It's 30 minutes. I've driven it 100 times. "Nancy, don't be difficult. Your mother is in pain." "You just flew to Arizona." Silence. Then, "That was different." "How?" "We were sitting on a plane. We weren't driving. Plus, Madison really needed us there. It was important to her. And my wedding isn't important? You have Jamie's whole family coming. You'll have plenty of people there. Madison doesn't have Garrett's family nearby. She needed us. My hand was shaking. I put the phone on speaker and gripped the edge of my desk. I need you. Nancy, you're being selfish. You've always been the independent one. Your mother's health has to come first. You understand that, right? I understand perfectly. Good. We'll send a nice gift. And we'll see you at Christmas. I hung up. I sat at my desk for 3 minutes. Then I opened my wedding seating chart and deleted their names from the front row. I left the seats empty. I texted Jamie. They're not coming. He called immediately. What? I'll tell you tonight. I have to work. I helped that first-generation student for 20 more minutes. Explained how to accept her loans, how to budget for books, how to apply for emergency funds if she needed them. Then I went to the bathroom and cried. My Uncle George called me the next day, my father's brother. Your dad called me, said they're not coming to your wedding. Yeah, he's a damn coward. I'm coming, and I'm sitting in their seats. Uncle George, you don't have to. I'm 90 minutes away. If I can make it, they can make it. I'll see you Saturday, Nancy. He hung up before I could argue. Jamie's mother called on the 20th. Nancy, honey, we're your family now. We'll fill that chapel with love. I believed her. Saturday, November 22nd, 2025. I woke up at Jamie's parents' house. His sister was doing my hair. I kept checking my phone. Nothing. You keep checking your phone, she said. I know. They're not going to call. I know that too. Then why? Because I'm still their daughter, even if they forgot. At 11:47, I checked one last time. No messages, no calls. I turned my phone off at noon. Owen showed up at 12:15 with coffee and donuts. Uncle George arrived at 12:30. I'm here, he said. Where do you need me? I put on my wedding dress. It was simple. Off the rack. $800 with alterations. I'd paid for it myself. Jamie's father knocked on the door at 1:30. Nancy, it would be the honor of my life to walk you down that aisle. You already said yes months ago. I mean it even more now. The old brick church held 78 seats. 76 people filled them. Front row left, 2 seats stayed empty. Aisle side, most visible. I walked down that aisle at 2:04. Richard Brennan, Jamie's father, held my arm. I looked at those empty seats as I passed. I didn't look away. I wanted everyone to see exactly who wasn't there. Jamie was crying at the altar. Uncle George had moved up from his assigned seat 5 rows back. He sat front row now, filling some of the space my parents left, but not all of it, not even close. The ceremony was beautiful. 28 minutes. Judge Patricia O'Malley, a family friend of Jamie's, officiated. When I said my vows, my voice cracked on to have and to hold. Jamie squeezed my hands tighter. We kissed. Everyone cheered. For 30 seconds, I forgot about the empty seats. The reception was in the church fellowship hall. Lunch buffet, simple. 76 people. The photographer asked me, Nancy, do you want photos with your parents? They're not here. She looked confused. Oh, I'm sorry, are they running late? No. Owen gave a toast. To Nancy and Jamie, and to chosen family, the people who show up when it counts, who stay when it's hard, and who love without keeping score. To the family we choose. 76 glasses raised. 2 seats remained empty. Everyone noticed. No one said it out loud. Jamie's mother quietly moved a flower arrangement to cover the empty space where my parents should have been standing in the family photos. At 3:30, my college roommate Bryce asked, Did they at least send a card? Not yet. They never did. At 5:30, Richard and I danced to What a Wonderful World, the father-daughter dance. I cried. He held me tighter. You're my daughter now, too, he whispered. We spent our wedding night at a bed and breakfast in Amana. I checked my phone at 10 that night. Nothing. I slept better than I had in weeks because I'd finally stopped waiting. The next 3 weeks were silent. No call, no text, no apology, no gift. On November 28th, Madison texted me. Congrats on the wedding. Sorry we couldn't make it. As if she'd been invited. As if her presence was the same as our parents. I didn't respond. On December 1st, I didn't send my parents their usual $400, first time in 10 years. My bank account looks strange with that extra $400 sitting there. Feels like blood money, I told Jamie. On December 5th, my father left a voicemail. Nancy, it's Dad. I noticed this month's, the usual didn't come through. I'm sure it's just an oversight. Can you give me a call back? I listened to it 3 times, deleted it, didn't call back. He called about the money. Not to apologize, not to explain, just to make sure the checks kept coming. December 2nd, my parents received a letter from Thomas Crawford, Estate Attorney, Iowa City. R.E. Estate of Helen Mitchell. My great-aunt Helen had died in October, my grandmother Rose's sister. She'd left $45,000 in her will to be split between me and Madison. The estate attorney was doing his due diligence. He'd discovered that Grandma Rose had also established an education trust for me back in 1999. Standard procedure to check on prior family trusts when settling an estate. He sent a letter requesting an accounting. I didn't know any of this was happening, not yet. But my father did. On December 8th, he called my office, got my receptionist, Dolores. I'm trying to reach Nancy Austin. May I ask who's calling? Her father. Dolores covered the phone, came to my office. Nancy, your dad's online too. Tell him I'm in a meeting. She went back. She's in a meeting right now. When would be a good time to catch her? She's usually here 9 to 5, but I'd recommend calling ahead. I'll stop by. Dolores told me later he looked terrified, sweating, clutching a folder. I didn't know he was coming. Monday, December 15th, 2025, 2:47 in the afternoon. Dolores's voice came through my intercom. Nancy, your father is here to see you. I froze. My hand stopped mid-keystroke. My father, here, at my office. Tell him I'm in a meeting. Pause. He says it's urgent. About family business. I closed my laptop, walked downstairs. He was standing in the lobby. Gray hair thinner than I remembered. Wearing his good khakis and a polo shirt. The outfit he wore to Madison's events. He was holding a brown accordion folder, thick, bulging with papers. His hands were shaking. Dad. Nancy, thanks for seeing me. I didn't know I had a choice. I gestured to the small conference room, glass walls. In here. He followed me. The folder seemed heavier in his hands than it should be. I didn't sit. He did. I know you're upset about the wedding. Is that what you came here to talk about? The wedding you missed 3 weeks ago? No. I came to talk about your grandmother's estate. My grandmother died when I was 13 in 2003. Why are you talking about her estate now? Your great-aunt Helen passed away in October. I know. You didn't tell me. I saw it in the newspaper. He flinched. We were going to tell you. Things have been complicated. You flew to Scottsdale. That wasn't complicated. Nancy, please. He opened the folder. Helen left some money, $45,000, to be split between you and Madison. Okay. But the estate attorney, he's asking questions about another trust from 1999. What trust? He slid a letter across the table, Crawford and Associates letterhead, dated December 2nd. Subject, R.E., Estate of Helen Mitchell, accounting request. I read it. The attorney was requesting a full accounting of Rose Mitchell's 1999 UTMA, Custodial Trust for Beneficiary Nancy Austin. I didn't know my grandmother left me a trust. My father didn't meet my eyes. That's when I knew. He slid another set of papers across the table. Uniform Transfer to Minors Act. State of Iowa. Custodial Education Account. Established June 14, 1999. Beneficiary Nancy Marie Austin, D.O.B., August 12, 1990. Initial deposit $150,000. Custodians Vernon James Austin, Carol Ann Austin. I read it twice. The words didn't make sense. $150,000? Your grandmother wanted you to have money for college. I took out $89,000 in student loans. I know. Then where? I stopped, because I already knew. Show me where it went. Nancy, show me. He pulled out bank statements. 5 years of them, 2008 to 2014. Withdrawal record, August 15th, 2008. $12,000. Qualified education expense. January 12th, 2009. $15,000. Qualified education expense. August 20th, 2009. $18,000. Qualified education expense. I grabbed my phone, started searching. Holy Trinity Preparatory School tuition, 2008. $18,000 a year. Madison's private school, Madison's. I kept scrolling through the statements. 2011, $27,000. Qualified education expense. Madison's year in Florence. 2011 to 2014, 15,000, 15,000, 15,000, 15,000. Madison State University tuition. 4 years. Every single withdrawal matched a Madison expense. Meanwhile, I'd been filling out student loan applications. We made difficult choices, Nancy. Both our daughters needed education. It had my name on it. Family resources are family resources. We thought you'd understand. You were always so independent. You got scholarships. You were going to be fine. I was fine because I worked 40 hours a week while taking 18 credit hours. I was fine because I ate ramen for dinner 4 nights a week. I was fine because I made myself fine, not because you helped me. Madison needed more support. Madison got a year in Italy. I got a second job. You're twisting this. I'm reading your bank statements. He pulled out one more document. Fresh. Printed that morning. Beneficiary release and acknowledgement form. The estate attorney needs this signed to close out Aunt Helen's estate properly. I read it. I, Nancy Austin, acknowledge that I received the full distribution of the Education Trust established for my benefit by Rose Mitchell in 1999, totaling $150,000. I hereby release the estate from any further obligation and confirm all funds were used appropriately for my educational expenses. I looked up. You want me to lie. I want you to help your family. If you don't sign this, the estate process gets complicated. Madison's share of Aunt Helen's money could be delayed. She's counting on it for the kids' college funds. Get out. Nancy, you stole $150,000 from me. You spent it on Madison. You let me drown in debt. You missed my wedding. And now you want me to sign a legal document saying you did nothing wrong so Madison can get more money? It's not like that. Get out. He stood up, started toward the door. Then he remembered the folder. He left it on the table. All of it. Every document. Every bank statement. Every piece of evidence. He was so panicked, he left the murder weapon behind. I sat alone in the conference room. Dolores watched through the glass, but didn't come in. I picked up the folder. At the very bottom, beneath all the bank statements, was a sealed envelope, cream-colored, aged, addressed in shaky handwriting. For Nancy, to be opened when you start college. With love, Grandma Rose. My hands shook as I tore it open. June 14th, 1999. My dearest Nancy, you are 9 years old today. You came to my house after your birthday party and told me all about the presents you got. A coloring book, you said. You seemed happy enough. But I watched your face when you talked about Madison's new bicycle, the one with the streamers and the bell, the one you'd asked for. I see things, sweetheart, things the adults around you miss or choose not to see. Your mother has always favored Madison. I don't say this to hurt you. I say it because someone needs to tell you the truth. It's not your fault. You are not less worthy. You are not less loved. You are simply less visible to people who should see you most. I'm putting away money for your college education. $150,000. It's not a fortune, but it's enough to give you choices. Enough to let you study what you love without drowning in debt. Enough to buy you freedom. This money is for you. Not for family expenses. Not for your sister. Not for emergencies that mysteriously benefit everyone but you. For your future. I'm making your parents the custodians because legally, I have to. I'm trusting them to do right by you. If they don't, Nancy, if they take this money that belongs to you and use it elsewhere, I want you to fight for it. You fight for what's yours. You are brilliant, Nancy. You are kind. You are capable of extraordinary things. Don't let anyone, not even your own family, convince you that your dreams matter less than someone else's. I'm also leaving you my amethyst ring, the one I wore on my wedding day. Your mother wanted it, but it's yours. Wear it and remember, you are worthy of every good thing. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to be chosen. If you're reading this, I'm probably gone. But know that I saw you, Nancy. Every time you stayed quiet when Madison got praised. Every time you smiled through another disappointment. Every time you made yourself small to make others comfortable. I saw you, and I loved you, and I wanted to protect you. Use this money wisely. Build the life you deserve. And if they try to take it from you, you remember what your Grandma Rose said. You fight for what's yours. All my love, forever and always, Grandma Rose. P.S. Don't let anyone tell you that independence is the same as not needing love. You can be strong and still deserve to be held. I read it 3 times. Then I put my head down on the conference room table and sobbed. My grandmother knew. She knew what they were doing. She tried to protect me, and they stole it anyway. Dolores knocked softly on the glass 20 minutes later. Honey, are you okay? I looked up. No, but I will be. I started gathering papers, putting them back in the folder. What did he want? He wanted me to lie for him, to sign away something that was mine so my sister could have more. What are you going to do? I'm going to find a lawyer. I texted Jamie. Can you come home early? I need you. He responded immediately. On my way. I walked out of that conference room carrying a folder full of evidence. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't afraid of what my parents would think. That evening, Jamie read everything. The bank statements, the trust documents. The letter? He didn't say anything for a long time. Finally, Nancy, this is theft. I know. No, I mean legally. This is actual theft. You were the beneficiary. They were custodians. They had a fiduciary duty. They violated it. He wanted me to sign a form saying I got the money. Jamie looked at me. You didn't. Of course I didn't. Good, because we're finding you a lawyer tomorrow. He held me that night. I didn't cry. I'd cried enough. Now I needed to be sharp. Wednesday, December 17th, 10 in the morning. Charlotte Price's office was downtown. Small firm. 3 attorneys. Her website said, specializing in trust litigation, breach of fiduciary duty, and estate disputes. She was 52. Gray hair in a bun, sharp eyes, warm smile. She read everything, took notes, asked questions. How much do you still owe in student loans? 52,000. And they spent 150,000 of your money on your sister's education. Yes. Nancy, this is textbook breach of fiduciary duty. Under Iowa law, custodians of UTMA accounts have a legal obligation to use funds for the named beneficiary only. They can't reallocate to other children. That's theft. What are my options? We send a demand letter, request full accounting and restitution. If they refuse, we file a civil suit. You'd be entitled to the original 150,000 plus interest, plus your legal fees, possibly punitive damages. How long would that take? If they settle quickly, 2 to 3 months. If they fight, could be a year. I didn't hesitate. Send the letter. Charlotte started drafting that afternoon. I called Uncle George that evening. Uncle George, I need to tell you something about Dad and the trust Grandma left me. Finally, I've been waiting years for you to figure it out. You knew? Your dad told me in 2009 he was reallocating Rose's money for both girls. I told him that was wrong, that it was yours. We didn't speak for 2 years after that. Will you tell that to my attorney? I'll tell it to a judge if you need me to. Thursday, December 18th. I visited Father Timothy at the church. Nancy Austin, I haven't seen you since your wedding. Congratulations. Father, I need to ask you about my grandmother Rose. Wonderful woman. I miss her. Did she ever talk to you about favoritism in our family? He sighed. She did. She was worried about you. Said your mother had always preferred Madison and it wasn't fair. That's why she set up that education fund specifically for you. She made me a witness when she signed the trust documents. She wanted to make sure you'd be protected. They spent it on Madison. I was afraid of that. By December 20th, Charlotte had written affidavits from both Uncle George and Father Timothy. The evidence pile was growing. December 23rd, 2025. Charlotte sent the demand letter. Crawford and Price Legal. RE. Breach of fiduciary duty. UTM. A account for Nancy Austin. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Austin, this firm represents your daughter, Nancy Austin, regarding the misappropriation of funds from the custodial education account established for her benefit by Rose Mitchell in 1999. Our client has documentation proving that you, as custodians, withdrew the entire $150,000 balance between 2008 to 2014 for expenses unrelated to Nancy's education, specifically for your other daughter, Madison's private school tuition and study abroad programs. This constitutes breach of fiduciary duty under Iowa Code, Chapter 565. B. Demand. Full restitution, $150,000. Interest, 2008 to 2025, $38,000. Student loan interest paid by Nancy, $34,400. Legal fees, total, $222,400. You have 14 days to respond. Failure to respond will result in civil litigation. The letter was sent certified mail and email. 3 days later, my phone rang. Mom calling. I answered. How could you do this to your own family? Hi, Mom. We could lose our house, Nancy. Is that what you want? Your parents homeless? I want the money Grandma left me. The money you stole. We didn't steal anything. We used it for education. Madison's education counts. It had my name on it. Family resources are family resources. You're being selfish. After everything we've done for you. What have you done for me, Mom? Specifically, she sputtered. We raised you. We fed you. You flew across the country for Madison's housewarming party and wouldn't drive 30 minutes to my wedding. Your father's back was fine on the airplane. If you go through with this lawsuit, you'll tear this family apart. You already did that. You did it every time you chose her over me. You did it when you spent my future on hers. You did it when you didn't show up to watch me get married. I'm not tearing anything apart, Mom. I'm just done pretending it was ever whole. Madison is devastated. She didn't know. Madison never knows, because you protect her from every consequence, but not this time. Please, Nancy, we'll pay you back. Over time. Just drop the lawsuit. Talk to my lawyer. I hung up. Jamie was listening on speaker. He held my hand the entire time. I blocked my mother's number. I should have felt guilty. I felt free. 2 days later, Madison called. Nancy, please, this is crazy. Hi, Madison. I didn't know about the trust, I swear. Mom and Dad never told me. But you knew I had student loans while they paid for your school. I don't know. I thought they were helping both of us differently. They were. They helped you with my money. It's not my fault they made that choice. I know it's not your fault, but it's not my job to protect you from the truth anymore. If they lose the house, where will they go? They're old, Nancy. They're 64 and 66. They're not that old. And they made choices. You're really going to ruin their lives over money? Madison, I've paid $720 a month for 10 years on loans I shouldn't have needed. That's my life they ruined. I'm just asking for what Grandma left me. You were always jealous of me. I paused. You're right. I was. I was jealous that you got parents who showed up, who paid attention, who flew across the country to see you unpack boxes, but wouldn't drive across town to watch me get married. That's not fair. No, Madison, it's not. None of it was fair, that's the point. This is why they like me better. Silence. I know, I said. I hung up. My sister said the quiet part out loud, and I realized I didn't care anymore. January 3rd, 2026. Charlotte called. Their attorney wants to settle. Already? They reviewed the evidence. They know they'll lose if this goes to court. Plus, court means public record. They don't want that. What are they offering? Full restitution. $150,000 plus $38,000 in interest. They're asking us to waive the additional student loan interest claim and legal fees. What do you recommend? Take it. You get your money, they admit wrongdoing in the settlement, and it's over by mid-January. Fighting for the extra $20,000 could take months. Okay. Nancy, this is a win. They're admitting they were wrong. Will it say that? In writing? It will say they improperly withdrew funds from your custodial account and agree to full restitution. That's legalese for they stole from you. Then yes, let's settle. January 10th, 2026. I signed the settlement agreement. My parents agreed to pay $188,000. $100,000 by January 15th, the rest by February 15th. To pay it, they had to sell the house they'd owned since 1992. It was worth $320,000. They moved to a two-bedroom rental condo. Madison got $0 from Aunt Helen's estate. I got the full $45,000, all in writing, all legally binding. January 15th. The check came by courier at 10:45 in the morning. $100,000 from Vernon and Carol Austin to Nancy Austin. Memo. Settlement payment 1 of 2. Jamie asked, "How does it feel?" "Like it's mine. For the first time, something is actually mine." We went to the bank at 2 that afternoon. Hills Bank, Iowa City. The teller processed the deposit. "Congratulations on your inheritance." I didn't correct her. My account balance, $104,237. First time I'd ever seen 6 figures. Jamie took a photo of the deposit slip. Remember this day. At 3:30, I logged into my student loan account. Great Lakes, student loan servicing. Current balance, $52,184.37. I clicked Make a Payment. Amount, $52,184.37. Pay in full. Confirmation, are you sure? Do it, Jamie said. I clicked. Payment processing. Payment successful. Your balance is now $0. 10 years. 120 payments. $86,400 paid. And now, 0. It's gone, I said. The debt's gone. You're free. Your turn. I paid off Jamie's loans too. $44,891. Total paid off that day. $97,075. We ordered pizza, sat on the couch, didn't talk, just held each other. For the first time since I was 22 years old, I didn't owe anyone anything. Late January, we started looking at houses. We saw 5 in 2 weekends. The third one felt right. Small. 1940s bungalow. 2 bedrooms. Hardwood floors. Fireplace. Front porch with a swing. 847 Sunset Street. Price, $235,000. We offered $238,000. They accepted. Down payment, $60,000 from the settlement. Mortgage, $178,000. Monthly payment about $1,100. The same amount we'd been paying in student loans. But this time, we were building equity. Building a future. Closing date, March 15th. We drove by every week until then. "This is ours," I said, standing on the sidewalk. "Not anyone else's, not my parents', not expectations, just ours." February 15th. The second check arrived, $88,000. With it, a small box, no note. Just my father's handwriting on the label, Nancy Austin. Inside, Grandma Rose's amethyst ring, silver band, deep purple stone, simple, beautiful. The ring she mentioned in her letter. I slipped it on my right hand. Perfect fit. "It suits you," Jamie said. She wanted me to have it. She wanted me to remember I deserved good things. You do. I'm starting to believe that. I established the Rose Mitchell Education Trust in February. $125,000 endowment. Earns about $10,000 a year in perpetuity. Annual scholarship for Iowa students pursuing higher education who receive no family financial support. Administered by the University of Iowa Foundation. The first recipient was Emma Rodriguez. 19. Journalism major. Working 2 jobs. Estranged from parents who disapproved of her major. I met her in my office on February 28th. "Emma, congratulations. You've been selected for the Rose Mitchell Scholarship." I don't know what to say." "You don't have to say anything. My grandmother left me money to go to school. My parents took it. I got it back. And now I want to make sure someone like you doesn't have to struggle the way I did. Thank you. This means everything. Use it wisely. Build your future. And remember, you deserve this. I couldn't give my younger self the protection she needed, but I could give it to someone else. Sunday, February 23rd, 2026. Jamie's parents' dining room. Table set for 10. Richard and Helen Brennan. Jamie's sister and her husband. Uncle George. Father Timothy. Owen. Bryce. Pot roast. Mashed potatoes. Green beans. Rolls. I stood wearing Grandma Rose's ring. I want to say something. Everyone quieted. 6 months ago, I got married with 2 empty seats in the front row. 3 months ago, my father showed up at my office asking me to lie about money he'd stolen from me. 2 months ago, I found out my grandmother tried to protect me from a family that couldn't see me. I touched the ring. But I'm here now, in a room full of people who chose to show up. Not because they had to, because they wanted to. Uncle George raised his glass. To Rose, she would have loved this. Father Timothy. To Nancy, she would have been so proud of you. Helen. To family, the kind you choose. Everyone. To family. I drove home that night with Jamie. We passed our future house. Lights were off. But it was there, waiting. I haven't spoken to my parents since January 10th, the day I signed the settlement. I haven't spoken to Madison since she told me this is why they like me better. I won't pretend it doesn't hurt. It does. Not because I miss them, but because I mourn the family I should have had. The mother who should have shown up. The father who should have protected me. The sister who should have shared instead of taken. But I don't mourn the version of myself who kept waiting for them to change. She's gone. In her place, a woman who knows her worth, who wears her grandmother's ring, who built a scholarship fund from the ashes of betrayal, who married a good man who sees her, who owns a house with a front porch, who sleeps without the weight of $720 monthly payments crushing her chest. The trust fund my grandmother left me was supposed to buy freedom. They stole it. Stole. But I got something better. I learned that freedom isn't something someone gives you. It's something you take back. They spent my future on the daughter they wanted. But I built a better one.